Go. Rabbi Wilhelm.
That's him.
Why did Rabbi Wilhelm cross the road?
To go to shul. Anyways, Mitzvah, on the way to shul here, it's how was your Rosh Hashanah, by the way?
We will see.
You know, it's a very good answer. I was speaking yesterday to a very chashuv Rav. I asked him, Rabbi, so-and-so, how was Rosh Hashanah? He says, we will see the rest of the year how it was. And I told him, and he laughed, that I heard that there is a Chassidish Rebbe. You know, if we move to the side, we won't be hit by these cars coming out.
Were you afraid of the cars?
There was a Chassidish Rebbe that said there's a very small difference between his davening, his Rosh Hashanah, and the Baal Shem Tov's Rosh Hashanah. What's the difference? The Baal Shem Tov on Rosh Hashanah, he's told what the rest of the year will look like. We, at the end of the year, we are told what our Rosh Hashanah looked like. I knew you were going to laugh at that one. Anyways, today is Shabbos Shuvah. Today is Shabbos Shuvah. And now, the beautiful thought about Shabbos Shuvah is what the Tzemach Tzedek said. The Tzemach Tzedek said is usually Shuvah is to keep the outside away from you. Keep everything out of become disconnected with all the nonsense and all the Averis. It comes to Shabbos Shuvah, it's a much deeper level of Shuvah. What's in your house, what's usually permitted, things that you're allowed to have, on Shabbos you have to refrain from having that. So that's a deeper type of Shuvah of digging in things that you're allowed to have usually, or things that you are connected with, and dig deep and find a Shuvah for that. Now what's going on? I mean, let's think about the same thing that we spoke last week. L'cha'ira, we hear tshuva, and there's no hazazah, there's no movements. I'll tell you two jokes that you guys get ready, because he's going to laugh at both of them. He's laughing already. Look at that. He laughs even before the joke. Number one is a very common one, that there was the guy who went to the car wash. He went through a drive-through car wash, and he comes out the other side. The car is beautiful from the outside, but from the inside is all the sandwich wrappers and all the candy wrappers. And he says, what's going on? He says, hey, mister, you forgot to open the door and let the guy come inside to clean inside. So sometimes we get a very, you didn't laugh. You know? Sometimes you get a very external blast of wax and soap. You go to shul, you get inspired with the chazan. In shul, you get inspired with the drasha, but you have to open up the heart and let it go inside. That's one. On the other hand, I read a beautiful mashal.
What's the second joke?
I'm up to slow down. I read a beautiful mashal of this community that convinced their rabbi to go with them hunting. So the rabbi says, look, saying hunting, me hunting, what do I have to do hunting? Rabbi, you'll teach us Torah the whole time. All right, so he was convinced. So they went hunting, and the whole time the rabbi is giving speeches and speaking about this, speaking about the Torah. Good. And they're all lined up and they're waiting. There's a lot of downtime. You have to wait for that prize animal to come. So if I heat, that animal shows up. And they say, Rabbi, what should we do? So the rabbi says, everybody look into the scope and line it up. And they're all doing, no, Rabbi, shoot. So they all shot, and they actually got the bullseye, they got the animal. But a fight breaks out. Whose shot actually killed the animal? So they came to the Rav, the rabbi said, okay, we got to go to make an autopsy to see who it was, whose bullet. So the guy does the autopsy, and the guy says, Mr. Rabbi Sai, it was the rabbi's bullet that shot the animal. How do you know? He says, only a rabbi's bullet could go in one ear and out the other ear. I knew you liked that one. So we have to... Hello, it's not it's not Purim. So you have to internalize, you have to open up the door. Yeah, you have to open up the door, let your heart, let everything internalize, and then shut the door and make sure everything stays, and all the goodies be matar. And as that's what Shabbos Shuvah is all about. And this week's parsha is the mitzvah that the Rebbe took, a lonely mitzvah, and blasted it out. The mitzvah of Hakel. And just making it popular, the Rebbe did. And another tremendous chiddush the Rebbe did. Hakel is really one day a year. Sukkot. The Rebbe made it into a shnas Hakel. So I saw, you ever heard of the Sefer, the set of Svarim Shem Shmuel from the Sochet Shavar? It's the father and son, the Avnei Nezer and the Shem Shmuel. So he says a very interesting question. He says, what's the purpose of Hakel? is the Melech reads the Torah Yiras Hashem, to infuse the people, the Yidden, with Yiras Shamayim. Where's Yiras Hashem? Wouldn't it be better if it was done in the beginning of Shemitah? The beginning of Shemitah, so many people had no jobs the whole year. They would have taken what the Melech taught them, and a whole year internalize it and work on it and develop, and they'll have true Yiras Hashem. Why no? After Shemitah they go to Hakel. And he says from this the proof is that to be able to allow this to penetrate and the Yiras Hashem should really happen, you need a whole year of Shemitah to work on it. So now that we passed the year of Shemitah, and we're going to hear the Melech read the Torah, and the Melech has the power to infuse and push into our heart a tropin of Yiras Hashem, we have to take that one day of Hakel and use it for the whole year, Yiras Hashem.
Wow. Rabbi Wilhelm, I'm so happy that you weren't chicken and you crossed the street.
Okay, thank
Mark
you.
Simateva.
Mark Simateva.